Hey guys, this is NST Never Stop Traveling, and today we're going to go over how to travel by yourself. How do you travel the world by yourself? A lot of people ask me this. I can't travel. I have no one to travel with. My boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't want to go traveling. I'm too scared to go to a new country by myself. I've never left my home country. That's not a big deal. It is scary leaving your home country by yourself for the first time, but I've met plenty of travelers who've done it. I met kids who were 17, 18 years old who left their country. I met a guy who traveled the world for 2 years. He was a high school dropout, and he learned more about making money and doing business, traveling the world by himself for 2 years than probably anything he would have learned at university. Cassie Day Pokel. She is a super inspiring case for this. She was an American, she was 28 years old, and she didn't have the money to do it, but she's like, I'm gonna see every single country in the world. I wanna be the first woman to travel to every country in the world, in today's day and age with as many countries we have. That's 196 countries. That's a lot of places to go. So in over an 18-month period of time, Cassie went to all 196 countries. 196 countries, guys. That's crazy. She went to these countries by herself. She was sponsored by a handful of the people. She was able to raise funds to do this trip. And in 18 months, she became, and still in her 20s, she became the youngest girl to travel the whole world by herself. Now, right now, there is a girl currently trying to travel the whole world by herself, and she's 23 years old. She wants to be the youngest girl to see every single country in the world. And you and I, we can both see every single country in the world. My goal is to see every single country in the world, before I'm, 30 or maybe 35, depending on how things go. If I can work for my laptop full time, I'll be able to do it definitely in the next few years. So it's like, we can go do this. How traveling the world by yourself changes your life. It's amazing how different you become after going on one of these adventures. You might go to another country by yourself and you learn so much about yourself. You're able to experience and challenge yourself. You're able to be who you want to be around people you may never meet again. You can just try out, be like, I really am interested in this. I want to talk about this. You can explore different ideas. We're all raised with certain ideas when we're young, and as we travel and go to different cultures and see different religions and perspectives on life, we can challenge our own ideas and maybe find out, hey, I'm wrong about a few things, or hey, I was right, and maybe I can help these guys out with my perspectives. It's phenomenal how much you learn and grow when you travel. It's like the college of life, traveling. When traveling the world by yourself, what you're gonna need to know is how to do your lodging, get your plane tickets, get transportation, and all these things you can figure out when you get there. That sounds crazy, but literally all you need to do is buy the plane ticket. I've known so many travelers, I meet them and yeah, I planned for this trip to do all these things, and I wish I just bought my plane ticket. I'm a little bit OCD, so sometimes if I'm trying to reach a lot of countries, I have to do a lot more planning, and you can definitely go that route. And in later videos, I will explain how to get different types of transportation, different types of lodging, how to not get ripped off, how to go to these different places and travel, plan your hostels, plan your hotels. But anywhere in the world, you can get a hostel for under $30 a night. That's your lodging. You get hostelworld.com. I'll show you guys how to do that in a later video, but you get hostelworld.com, you can get lodging for $30 or less. Guaranteed, most places in the world will cover this. There might be about 5% of the world, like Switzerland and a place, it might be 45 or more, but that's your lodging, and that's totally doable. You can schedule that in advance. For transportation, you can do hitchhiking, which I know a lot of people do. I wouldn't recommend it that much at first because it takes a little bit more trust in humanity, but you can definitely do travel on buses, or you can just ask around. If you don't know how to do something, what's great is when you're traveling, you're forced to talk to other people. You're forced to ask, hey, how do I get to this town? Or how do I get transportation from here to here? And it's just really good for you to be able to do that. Food, you can get food anywhere. There's street food, there's restaurants, sometimes you at your lodging. For a lot of hostels, I try to only book hostels that have free breakfast. I'll eat a really big breakfast, maybe a little lunch, maybe a little dinner. I actually don't eat that much. As of now, I only eat maybe sometimes 2 meals, but generally one big meal during the day. So if I can get it down to eat that big meal in the beginning of the day, when you travel, I know it sounds crazy, but when you travel, you can do that. And instead of having to get 3 meals, you eat one big meal during the day, and it's like, you're set. You save a lot of money. You can go a lot further instead of, eating, or you just have little snacks throughout the day, or take some of that breakfast along with you. Skyscanner. I will go in depth on all these individual things: Hostelworld, Rome to Rio, Skyscanner. But Skyscanner is a great way to plan tickets, because you can go on there and you can set up you can look at the different dates and be like, oh, it's cheapest to fly on these days or these days, and maybe you get to stay in your home country or another country for a few more days, or it pushes you to leave sooner. So you might want to be going from point A to point B, and you'd be like, oh, with Skyscanner, I find out I'm saving $100 by staying one extra day. And then, you can save a lot of money. And that's one reason why Skyscanner is so great. Rome to Rio is great. I already made a video that goes over Rome to Rio and Hostelworld on what to do on a layover, and that link will be below in the description box. And if you have any other questions, you put it in the comments. If you have little money saved up, what can you do when you're traveling? Some people say, oh man, I only have, $1,000, after I get my flight, I only have $1,000 to spend. I can only stay in a country for a week. No, you can stay in a country for much longer than that if you're smart, if you go to the right places. In Southeast Asia, you can get lodging for $10 a day, transportation maybe $5, $10, and then food for 10 or so. That's about $900 a month. You can travel for an entire month in Southeast Asia, and I know you can get it for half that price. If you're smart about it and you're careful, you can do your lodging and everything for less. And worst case scenario, you might get to work at a hostel for free lodging and free food for a couple weeks. You get to live in a new country, you pay for your transportation there and back, but you have free lodging and free food. And you have to work maybe 20 hours a week. You're hanging out with a bunch of foreigners, you're hearing all these stories. Maybe you're learning different ways that you can travel, or ways you can make money when you're traveling. And that's just one thing that's really great about hostels. Now, say you have a decent amount of money saved up, maybe $2,000, maybe $5,000. If you got enough funds to go for it, and you have a summer off, you worked throughout high school, or you worked your freshman and junior year, or freshman and sophomore year, and you got a summer off, you don't know what to do, I would just go for it. The biggest step is just buying that ticket, leaving the country. You'll figure it out, and you can watch some other videos that'll help walk you through it. You can do it, and if you can't yet, you'll learn how to do it. It's a growing experience. That's one reason why traveling is so phenomenal. Just go out and do it. Now guys, I know that's a lot to take in. If it's just overwhelming and just sounds like a big challenge to do this, just reach out to me. Depending on how many people comment, I'll try to contact every single one of you who asks any questions. I will help you make a plan if you want to do one of these trips, or I'll give you an old itinerary that I had for a certain trip. Be like, hey, I'm going to South America, Central America, Europe. I'll send you an old itinerary I had. I'll give you some recommendations on lodging. If you give me a budget, I'll be like, hey, if you have $1,000, you can do this. If you have $2,000, you can do this. I'll help walk you through it. Contact me through one of my social medias in the description box, or put it in the comments, and I'll try to answer any questions you have. Hope this helped, guys. And if you have any ideas for anything else I can do on this series about travel hacks, just let me know. I would love to make a video about it. And peace out. Have a great day. Please like, comment, and subscribe.